podcast. For this episode, I made my way down to Edinburgh Brewery Pilot Beer down in Leith. The person I spoke to was Pat Jones. We sat in his office and he chatted to me about what makes Pilot Beer tick. Pat met his business partner Matt Johnson at the Heriot Watt Brewing and Distilling course here in Edinburgh, and they went on to start Pilot Beer to help them brew the beers that they themselves were interested in. With being such a new company, they were able to write the rule book according to themselves, and they chucked some of the established brewing rules out of the window in the process. Their approach is very refreshing, and their beers are unusual and surprising. If you've not tried them, do yourself a favour, there is not a dull one amongst them. So for this interview, in the background, you'll hear the brewery goings on, which is to be expected, and maybe Pat's wee dog Jack as well. Over to Pat. I was just going to start somewhere with a really stupid question, like, what made you want to brew beer? So, I mean, obviously, drinking beer is one thing. How do you get from that to going, I'm going to do a course at Heriot Watt?
It's a really good question, that, and I'm not sure I quite understand it myself, because loads of people have hobbies that you don't turn into careers. Part of it, at least for both me and Matt, was we were in careers that we really weren't enjoying.
Right.
So okay. I've been looking to get out, but I've been looking to get out for a couple of years by the time I left, and I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do, but I'd done a bit of home brewing and enjoyed it, and just, in all honesty, a bit of a sort of moment of madness, and signed up to do the Masters, and once I'd done that, that was it then,
You enjoyed the course?
You're on the course, you're doing that, and that's it. Once that first footsteps happened, the rest sort of follows, because you don't like kind of go crawling back to financial services with your tail between your legs.
Once you've seen the bright lights of the brewing.
Yeah, I mean I think for a lot of people, if you really, really love home brewing, leave it as a hobby,
Really?
90% of our time here is not brewing.
I suppose.
It's running a small business, and it's great, but we enjoy that bit of it as well. But if you just like the brewing, just keep brewing.
Well, I kind of figure from the name Pilot Brewery that the brewing and developing and starting new things is something that you're mostly interested in.
Yeah, that's totally true. We love kind of doing. Well, just playing around with things, playing around with recipes and methods and stuff. At the moment, we don't have the capacity to do it. We're just banging out the same 3 beers for the permanent lines.
Right.
So we don't get to play around as much as we like. We still do occasionally just on the little homebrew kit. So we've done a peach sour recently, and that's done a pineapple-y thing.
So you still have a real Pilot Brewery at home, yeah?
Yeah, it's up on the top of the office.
All right.
It's the one. It is the kit that me and Matt used to brew in Matt's garage, and it's the same thing. So it's the mash tun that Matt built from a water cooler.
Uh-huh.
We got rid of the kettle that I built from a big mango chutney tub because it was a death trap.
It's not too dissimilar to what CMA though.
No, it's also a death trap, just a bigger one with a higher current going through it. Yeah.
And more boiling water to...
Yeah, a lot more. It's a much bigger death trap.
So you were homebrewing before you even did the course?
Yeah, I was homebrewing with a guy I worked with in, as I say, in financial services. It was just malt extract and sort of steeping some of the special grains, but that was it really. In all honesty, I've not done a lot of homebrewing before I went and did the course. Matt had done a wee bit more, but we didn't know each other at that point. But I'd never done a full grain brew before he started the Masters, so it was a leap of faith.
Yeah. Well, that's a fantastic thing to do, though, isn't it? It's like
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's still a part of it that kind of is expecting my old boss to come and say, "Come on, back to work now. You've had your fun.
You've had your fun. You drank the beer. Now get back to your real job." Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot harder to do what we did now, even sort of 5 years on.
You think?
Yeah, I think it's just a much more crowded market.
Okay.
There's a lot more guys coming into, for want of a better word, the craft space.
Right.
With a lot of money, really good startups, but with, budgets
right.
10, 20 times what we had. I think we just got a foot in the door at the right time.
Oh, excellent.
Hopefully.
Well, I mean, you'll know the market well now that you've been established. What is it, 5 years or something?
Well, it was 5 years. We started about 5 years and a month ago. We started the Masters. Pilot's been going. It'll be this month. Will be the 3rd anniversary of the first group. I must look at when it is. The first anniversary we had a big party. It was brilliant. The second and third, it's just yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I can understand that.
Yeah.
So how did you get from doing the Masters, feeling quite confident that you know what you're doing, to go and write, we're starting a brewery?
Yeah,
Where did you even start looking?
To be honest, I don't think we did feel confident that we knew what we were doing.
Okay, I'll take that
the
back.
Masters is great, but it's a science course. It's not a practical brewing course.
Yeah, well, especially if you say most of what you're doing is running a small business.
Yeah.
Do they teach you that?
They lip service to that probably. You do a lot of brewing science, and that comes in handy. But in terms of actually running a brewery, we rely on a lot of. Me and Matt's skill set, Matt's design, I'm more finance, so we've got quite a lot of that covered anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, we met on the course, similar age, similar kind of stage in life, both based in Edinburgh. We got on well, and we thought the matching skills work well. So we decided on the course that we would try and start something together. And then we were just kind of right place, right time to get the brew kit that we got. So it was from Fountain, McCowan's up in Fountain Park, Scottish and Newcastle built brew pub in the late 90s that had just basically been mothballed for 10 years. And we knew it was there, but James at Alchemy let me know that they were looking to sell it and had approached all the local breweries.
Okay.
Of course, all the local breweries said, why would we want that? It's tiny. But James tipped me off, so we got that, and that was it really.
What did it consist of?
Everything you can see here. So there's one big vessel is actually the mash tun sitting on top of the hot liquor tank. Then you've got the big, sort of 1,000 litre copper, 3 FVs and a conditioning tank, beer tank. And that's it. It's 7 US barrels, so about 5.5 UK barrel. We monkeyed around with it a bit. It was vastly overcomplicated. So the system was the kettle also doubled as a mash mixer and had paddles in it. Right. So you would mash into the kettle, pump that through into the mash tun, which was operating as a lauter tun, presumably clean the kettle, run off back into that. The mash tun had rakes in it as well, so we took all of that and just stripped it down back to sort of isothermal mashing, just mash into the mash tun and boil in the kettle.
Why was it like that? Any idea? It sounds a bit odd.
Just, I think, from what I can gather, when they built it, Scottish and Newcastle had quite a big budget to do this, and were wowed by sort of shiny toys.
Okay.
So, I mean, for this size, what you basically want is a homebrew kit scaled up.
Yeah.
And what this is an industrial brewery scaled down.
Okay.
Also, what it was. So it's lovely stuff, but yeah, we took a lot of the complexities out of it because we found their brewing logs and various email chains, and all these things were just causing issues.
Okay.
There was grist getting in all the pipe work and the pumps and all of this, and it's because you're pumping grist round.
Yes.
You just don't need to. But I think within a big corporation, there was no one who could go, right, we're going to chop that motor out, we're going to divert this here and do that. So
So rather
than do that, they just mothballed it, and I mean, God knows what this cost to put in new, but it would have been comfortably into six figures.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, we didn't pay that.
Yeah.
It would have been daft money for the size of kit.
Uh-huh.
You were never going to make that money back on a kit this size. It was a kind of showpiece for them, but
Tiny toy, like you say.
yeah.
So did you know when you took this kit on that you'd have to modify it a bit, that it would come with all these problems?
We did, because we got, although we kind of knew what we wanted, we got a consultant in to help us with the move.
Okay.
George Thompson, who actually built the kit at the Gothenburg.
All right.
And George he's an old school brewing man, but
Uh-huh.
you know what he doesn't know about brewing isn't worth knowing.
Yeah, oh good.
And he's kind of came in, took one look at it. Yeah, so George came in, took one look at it and said it's really nice, but take that out.
Okay.
You know, do that, and it was just vastly overspec.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very pretty.
It's just, yeah. I mean, it looks. I was impressed when I came in.
Yeah, no, it's
very nice.
I can't imagine there's many brew kits this size that are as nice looking as this, because you just wouldn't spend that money on it.
No, usually they've got like an enamel outer with things in it, and
plastic FVs and things. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, we are a bit spoiled.
Oh, nice. Well, you've had to make it work, so I don't know if we call it being spoiled if you need that much investment just to begin with.
No, that is true. And yeah, because it's all American as well, there's certain parts that when they go wrong, we end up having to get stuff shipped from the States. And
is it imperial kind of?
It's a total mix of fixtures and fittings, and I don't know any breweries entirely happy with their kit, but you know, there are a lot of things we'd do differently if we were designing a plant from the ground up.
Yeah. But,
Jax, sit, stay, good boy.
has he chewed the end of your pen?
Oh, he loves pens. Yeah. I don't know why.
Good chewable kind of size.
Yeah.
Kind of like sticks, I suppose.
Yeah. Jax, in your bed. All right.
Or on
Jordan's chair. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I was going to talk about your beers as well, because you've got this kit, and obviously you've made it work for yourself. If you look at your website and look at all the beers that you've got, I mean, it's mouth-watering. It's like you've got, you were just, it's like a wish list of ingredients and techniques and combinations. How did you what drives you, and how did you come up with them?
A lot of the ideas come from cooking.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the flavours we use there, but ideas come from all over really. Some things are suggested. So Ultraviolet, which is the Palmer Violet wheat beer we do, was Baz, the landlord up at Cloisters, wanted a Palmer Violet beer for his beer festival, and we said, nah, that'll be disgusting. But then Matt was like, no, we can do this. So that came from there. Things like the Sumac Saison we did with Benjit Elixir, that was, discovered sumac as an ingredient. I can't remember what I was cooking, but just thought, you just start thinking about how could we use that, what could we do with that.
Sumac being a kind of Middle Eastern?
It's Middle Eastern, yeah. I think it's a berry. I think the spice is I think it's a dried berry, and it's tart and kind of like a raspberry flavour.
Okay.
And so this Saison was bright pink. And,
right. People
either got it or they didn't. It kind of tasted like Turkish delight. It was lovely. Yeah, it was that. So that was fun, and it's at this size. It's fun. You can, we're confident that. We can make good beers out of all sorts of things, so we just do, and it keeps it interesting. But as I say, at the moment, it's just banging out 3 of the core beers at the moment.
Right.
Beers that we love, but it's that there's nothing. I mean, mochaccino's a bit of a pain to do because you're doing coffee and cocoa nibs at various points. And cleaning cocoa nibs out of pumps is fun.
Yeah.
But we never wanted to do sort of wacky ideas for the sake of it. We'd only do something if we thought it would work in beer. Even even ultraviolet, we keep the Parma Violets quite dialed down because we want to make a beer that you'll go back to. We're not interested in going, whack, here's this huge hit of this flavour.
You'll buy half a pint of it, that's it. Yeah.
Have your third, stick it on rate beer, give it 4.6 and move on.
Yeah.
We'd rather
Never buy another one.
Well, that's it. We'd rather get 3.8s and people having pint after pint of it.
Watching the game and drinking 10 of them. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Well, that's to be honest, that's where we come from. We got into beer in pubs and like going to pubs, and whilst beer's a fantastic, amazing thing and it can hit these incredible heights, it's also a social thing. We don't want to lose that element of the beers that we make. We want to make beers that are a good pint.
Yeah. I suppose you can get carried away being, scientific and arty about it.
Yeah. Oh, you can, and that's. I can't think what I'm trying to say. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing going. We're going to make a beer with X ingredient, and it's going to be the most powerful flavour. That's fine. It's just not what we want to do.
Yeah.
We want to get these flavours blended within the beer, so they're there, but not necessarily whacking you in the face with it.
Yeah. Do you think your background in the course that you did, the kind of quite academic approach, does that give you the confidence to play around with the ingredients because you kind of know what to expect?
I'd say that comes more with experience.
All right.
It's more knowing the kit now and knowing levels of ingredients and that they, we are. If we're doing something particularly out there, we'll brew it at the homebrew scale first, and we'll do it again, and we will take a sort of trial and error approach there. But I'd say it's much more experience that gives us that confidence now, rather than the course. The course gives us a really good knowledge in what's happening in the brewing process, what enzymes are doing what during the mash.
Yeah.
So it's a good background knowledge to have for problem solving and perhaps thinking about new ways of doing things. But ingredients wise, it's much more. That's much more kind of art backed by science, I would say. It's much more creative, and then
intuitive coming from cooking.
Well, that flavour, we quite often will start knowing the flavour we want to get, and then it's kind of thinking about how you're going to get it. And one of the interesting things is scaling things up from the homebrew size to the commercial size, because something like iced tea, we started off doing with, I can't remember how many, literally Earl Grey tea bags in the homebrew kettle, and you can just squeak them out.
Yeah.
With a sieve, just whack them out. But then, with 1,000 litres of boiling water, you can't do that. So it's interesting working out new ways of doing things. And then the Parma Violets are the same. We brewed it the first time with 70 packs of Parma Violets and just scrub them out at the end. But then on the full kit, you just get this chalky residue, and the fermenter stinks of Parma Violets.
Practical problems that are problems.
That's it. And these are all fun parts of it. Just thinking around problems like that. Yeah.
But speaking of ingredients, one of the reasons I was really interested in speaking to you was the unfined thing. I'm a vegan, have been for like over 20 years, so this is exciting news for me, and I get the impression that the fact that you, maybe this is me just making stuff up, but that you're starting from a clean slate here. You're not part of someone else's brewery, you've done your thing, you're unfettered by traditional ideas, and this seems to be the decision not to use fining seems to kind of tap into that.
It definitely was. Right at the start, we did use finings because it's what you did. And we were new to the game. We homebrewed. Matt had done a few brews up at Trist, and that was our commercial brewing experience. And then on the Masters, you make cask beer, you put finings in. That's what you do. But immediately, we were drinking beers out of the tanks, going fantastic, and then going to pubs, going, it's lacking a bit, and the difference as far as we could see was the finings. So we were only probably 2 or 3 months in, but we said, right, we're going to try ditching this. And there was a bit of resistance at the time. There was some pubs that kind of wouldn't have it, certainly the keg stuff.
Really?
Because that gets even murkier with the chill haze on top of yeast in there. So there was a pub that'll remain nameless that, took some of our first kegs and sent them back, and then 2 years later wants it back on a permanent line. The market's changed that much. I think we like to think we were the first brewery in Scotland to go unfined. I've got no evidence to actually back that.
Right. But you were the first ones that came out with it.
Yeah, we were certainly, when we did it, we were aware of more down in the southwest of England, and that was about it. That was all we were really aware of doing it. And now it's not really an out there thing at all. I think some of the bigger breweries can't do it,
right?
Because there's still a significant part of the market that wants clear beer, and they can't afford to turn that down. But more and more wee breweries now, I think it's almost becoming the dumb thing among smaller breweries not to find now.
Why do you think that is?
Well, we're convinced the flavour's better.
Right.
Maybe not better, different. It's a different flavour. I would say it's maybe a little rougher around the edges, but livelier for it. That's our feeling. Our feeling is that the fining's just mellowed things out a bit, and that's subjective.
Of course.
People may prefer that, they may not, but we prefer it not. I think the big difference is now the market will drink hazy to cloudy beer quite happily. And
I think that's just what it is. People have re-examined their attitude towards what a hazy beer is.
I think so, I think so. And I mean, some of our unfined stuff will drop perfectly bright in cask. It does maybe take a wee bit longer, but then some of the things like the tea and iced tea, the tannins you get from that are giving you haze. Blonde's 50% oats, so that's got so much protein in there, which is why we use the oats. We don't want that to drop bright. But I think the big difference is the market. There's people who want these bright, lively tastes, and they don't necessarily care about merc levels. You can go down a Twitter wormhole and read argument after argument about which is better and why, and just bore yourself silly. There's plenty of bright beer if you want it. There's plenty of hazy beer if you want it. Why people have to argue about it on the internet, I don't know. I know. I offered to fight one of the guys who came up with the hashtag merch shaming on Twitter, but he never got back to me. But they don't tag us with that hashtag anymore.
All right. I've noticed. I mean, I'm a home brewer, and people drink my beer, my friends mostly, and. It used to be if there was a little bit of haze, the first thing people would do is hold it up, and if they could see any kind of haze, they'd be like, "Oh, is this going to give me the shits, or am I going to be sick tomorrow?" And now people go, "Oh, it's a craft beer, homemade craft beer," and quite happily drink it. So something's changed, and it's probably through efforts, people like yourselves.
I think so. I mean, the big one for me is we haven't for a while because they've signed the lease now, but we were doing fundraising evenings for Leith Theatre to try and buy out the council contract on that and renovate the huge theatre where
it's beautiful. I've seen it.
Have you seen it? It's amazing. Kraftwerk have played there, the Stones have played there. It's phenomenal. We were doing these fundraising, and most, it was a mixed crowd there, and we're like, how's this going to go down? We just don't know. And then, a Leith old boy came up to me and shook my hand and said, this is the best party he's ever had. And you think,
excellent.
That's. Give me that over a million hipsters going.
Absolutely.
But that felt like a real breakthrough. If you're there to tell people, no, it won't give you the shits. It's fine. Well, it's not fine, as it were. It's just a bit of yeast.
That's it. There's yeast in your beer whether you see it or not.
Well, that's the yeast in the beer whether you see it or not, and we cold condition the shit out of our beer to drop plenty out. It's not, as I said earlier, not all the haze in there is yeast. A lot depends on the ingredients we use in. You know, you get the chill haze as well. It's not necessarily a yeast soup. Occasionally, you know, because we're not filtering or anything, you'll see a pint on Untapped or whatever, and you think that's sucks up a big clump of yeast from the keg there. You know, that's not ideal.
Yeah.
We're constantly trying to work out better ways of stopping that happening. And that is basically more time, colder, slower transfers. So, you know, we transfer everything under CO2 pressure now rather than pumping. And everything's a little bit slower, which is obviously time and money. But you know, that's it. Yeah, you know, we, contrary to the opinion again of some Twitterites, we're not in the business of serving pints of yeast soup. It's you know, we're not deliberately trying to alienate people.
Are you reliant on the publican doing something to help this as well, or could this have some kind of effect if they don't know what they're doing?
Not really. We are not through any deliberate decision, but we're 99% keg now. We do very little cask, and the onus is much more on us then. You know, there's, other than saying to publicans, look, treat it a little bit like a cask. Don't you know, give it a day standing. Don't shake it up to see if there's any left. That kind of thing. But yeah, we you know, you're not relying on them kind of racking it for 3 days, and you know, so it's, the onus is a lot more on us, but we're kind of happy with that way.
Absolutely, it would make
you know, where you've got a cask pub and the cellarman is great and knows what he's doing, it's fantastic. Where they don't, it's not. It's our reputation that gets a bash. But no, it's, for most part of the pub, it's hook it up and serve it. What we do try and do is, whenever we get any new business, one of us tries to go in and, you know, talk to the staff. This is why we don't fine and filter. This is why we think it's better. And you know, if anyone asks, there you go. You've got the information.
Do you find that people just think that there's something wrong with your beer because there's unusual ingredients in it, because it's got a haze? Is there like a section of people who just don't get it and think you don't know what you're doing? Are you up against that?
It can happen. I've seen it online a couple of times, again with the, you know, when someone's had a really yeasty pint and has posted it on wherever, you know, that gets it, but most you know, that's not something we're aiming for. Less and less. As I say, that, you know, the pub that 2 years ago sent 2 kegs back, and now it's a permanent line, and you know, nothing is. I think we maybe changed the yeast strain to something a bit more flocculent, but not massively. You know, something's definitely changed. People have definitely come round to it. I think, you know, you could stick our beers on in a certain pub and not educate the staff in any way, and it would be coming straight back, definitely.
That's what I was thinking. So if someone was in a Spoonies and didn't know what to expect, and they're only drink Tennent's the rest of the time, are they just going to go, what's this?
But I think so. But again, I think more and more the market at large is aware that, you know, this is fine. Don't worry. I think that you won't be seeing us in the Spoons anytime soon.
That was an extreme example.
But
do you need to kind of vet the pubs that you go into to a degree where you think, right, this, you know, the audience here might not be as educated as we would like?
All we do is just double check with whoever's doing the order, and we say, look, you know, it's unfined. Depending on the beer, it's going to be anything from hazy to cloudy. And we actually say, we're not going to take it back on the basis of how it looks. And as long as you do that, we have a whacking great unfined on the pump clip, and a little bit of an explanation there, and it's just about educating. But I wouldn't say the job's done. But it's certainly, you know, it's halfway there. I think in some ways, it's in some places maybe swung a bit too far. You have to kind of explain to people sometimes that
It might turn out clear.
Well, it's
don't think there's anything wrong with it.
No, it's almost the other way. As I say, we're not doing a lot of cask now, but when we are, you have to explain, look, you still do have to rack it and let it drop a bit. You can't just take the cask and put it on that afternoon, because people will do that and say,
right.
No, it's unfined, it's meant to look like that, but it still needs a bit of time to settle out. So it's almost the other way, people will drink any old Merc, so you have to go, no, look, we want it, we want some of that stuff to drop out. Yeah.
Do you find that it continues to ferment in the keg then, if it's got a fair bit of yeast that's still in it? Is that one of the reasons I was told that fining needs to happen in the old schools, because, if you're kegging it or...
No. With the keg stuff, we're letting that ferment right out in the fermenter, and there's still yeast in there. But if you're hungry and you can find your FV, bottle it, stick some priming sugar in there, it'll still ferment. There's still so much live yeast in there that it's any residual sugar that's the issue, not the yeast.
Right.
You could have a beer that looks crystal clear, but there's still enough live yeast in there to get a fermentation going if the sugar's there.
If it had sugar,
yeah. I guess probably for us it's just getting things like mochaccino, anything with a lot of the darker malts in, it's just getting the fermentation all the way down.
And then adding lactose, I suppose, for sweetness.
Yeah, well that goes in the boil. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, there's something in the darker malts that maybe seems to inhibit the yeast a little bit.
Okay.
That could be absolute nonsense, but that's what we've found. So sometimes we just have to give it a little bit of encouragement, maybe a wee rouse or something, just to get the last couple of points out, because what you don't want to be doing is sticking it in a keg with fermentation still to go.
Too many sugars,
yeah, you're just going to end up with a fobby mess.
Yeah. The finings themselves, I mean, I've seen them in the brewery. They look like spunk. They're disgusting. If people knew, I think it would kind of solve itself, this problem. I think most people just don't know how disgusting they really are, and that they are in the beer. And the subject is now becoming... I think one of the reasons maybe people are accepting it more is because once you start thinking about it, no one wants that in their beer, really. How did they get away with it for so long?
Well, it's just... I guess it's the done thing, is it? It's... I always wonder how it came about. I don't know the history of it. How did swim bladders end up? Well, what's the supply chain like?
And how many swim bladders are there? I mean, there's a huge market. I mean, how many finings get used worldwide? It must have some kind of impact on nature.
I would think it must do. Yeah. It's a very odd thing, and it's. I think you're right, people don't know, and they're not the most pleasant things. I mean, you shouldn't be drinking them, they should be dropped out, sitting in the bottom of the cask there, full of yeast. But still, it just seems unnecessary. We've kind of become sort of inverse haze snobs now. So if anything's kind of bright as a button, we're like, that's as bad as the other way around. It's equally sort of snobbish and nonsense. But I like the look of a pale hazy beer. I think when you get into sort of brown ales and things like that, and if that's too cloudy, it's looking a bit unpleasant.
Right. Yeah.
But I think it is. People just don't realise that these things are in there, and and they're not. The big drums of them. It's not particularly pleasant stuff. As I say, you shouldn't. If you're drinking the fine and something's gone wrong, it shouldn't actually be in the final pint. But it's just an unnecessary process. It's just temperature and time.
I hope people are moving away from them. I think they are. Is it the west coast or the east coast of America?
Yeah, the east coast IPA. You see some of them and you think they're putting Merc into these beers. Is your
IPA soup?
Yeah, well that's it. There's no good reason why things should look like that. As I say, when we see a pint of ours that looks like that, something's gone wrong. It's a clump of yeast got into the line or something. But I think it's become the deliberate look, hasn't it, out there, which
I like that. I mean, it's like I say, I think it's exciting that people like yourselves come along with a completely clean slate and can just rewrite rules like that, and not just inherit the old way of doing things.
Well, that's it. Brewing is, in some ways, a very conservative industry, and up until the proliferation of wee guys, for a big brewery, if Timothy Taylor's couldn't suddenly go, right, we're doing landlord unfined, it's going to be cloudy. They couldn't do it, and people, it's a real mindset of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and fair enough. So the kind of proliferation of wee guys going, right, we're going to try this, or we're going to try this, is great.
What the hell? Let's put this in.
That's it. And not every wee brewery is brilliant. Not every big brewery is terrible, but there's some really good new ideas coming through, definitely.
Especially in such a conservative market, like you say, it's probably like popping the lid on something. Not just new ideas coming in, but in a lot of ways, old ideas are allowed to resurface. Then
absolutely, because going back to the course, that's based around, or have been based around, getting people into big beer. So the guy who's head of the course, his background was in Heineken, and he'd be talking. If one of those big guys did change something, they'd basically just watch the sales graphs, and you think, where is this change in flavour happened that people are noticing? There's enough there, but
it's a different mindset, isn't it?
Totally different mindset, and I think, if I go out with my mates and have a pint of Tennent's or something, you want a pint of Tennent's. You don't want Tennent's to be surprising you with, it's you're not drinking it to be a great. You're drinking it, for the other reasons of it. You're out with your mates. You do that. You don't. You don't want it to be sour. You don't want it to be cloudy. You're
not challenging yourself.
You want the same thing time and time. I think technically that's quite interesting to try and do that time and time again with a natural process. That's not for us. Consistency is not something we go for. We constantly trying to improve process and get more from things. But actually kind of churning out the same thing time and time again is quite technically interesting, if not on the palate.
I've looked at Budweiser and how it's produced. I think I saw something on TV about it once, and quite a lot goes into producing something that tastes consistently of not much.
Budweiser's like a technical marvel. To have that much rice in there and do it is actually quite difficult. I mean,
it's quite impressive.
Well, I've got a lot. I love a decent pilsner. I love, I was out in the Czech Republic